attachment theory sounds kind of clinical, right? How does that come to life? How do you bring that to life for people in organizations? How do you help leaders think about that?
First of all, attachment theory was founded by John Bowlby, who was really looking at the mothers and children relationships and what happens to them. There's a great video on YouTube called Still Face Experiment. The baby and the mother interacting with each other, and then they ask the mother to go still and silent. And then you watch what the baby does. And the baby goes through 4 stages of getting the mother back and what's happening with the baby. And so what researchers learned is that the adults go through the same stages as the baby. It's inherent in us. So the baby first reaches, then the baby shrieks, makes noise, then the baby turns away, then the baby cries. And when the mother comes back, the baby engages immediately and just as before. So all of that teaches us that our relationship, the way we impact each other, especially when people stonewall and withdraw, they feel like, oh, I'm withdrawn, like I'm not doing anything, like what's the big deal? But guess what? The big deal is when you withdraw, my amygdala goes on fire. And now I'm becoming more anxious and demanding, and all of that drama happens immediately when people can't reach for each other. So an attachment relationship, we look and say the reason why people acting that way, or the reason why people distancing or disengaging, because there's a break in a connection. Because there's a break, there's some hurt feelings. You know, everybody wants to feel valued, important, seen. Well, that's a moment when that attachment fear, I'm rejected, I'm not valued, I'm not important, interjected. So everything that we do, we're really trying to get the connection back. Anxious people are trying to complain, criticize, or blame because they are anxiously to getting that connection back, but they are doing it ineffectively. The withdrawer people, they want to distance themselves because they don't want more disconnection happening. So that doesn't work either. The problem is they get stuck in those moments. We all have done all of those things. But when we get stuck in those moments, that perpetual behavior continues to create more distance and more disconnection. And then people started to feel really alone and isolated. So when we look at the attachment through the attachment lens, and we see that people are either disengaged or they're in conflict, it's because there's a negative cycle. So you could right away notice the relationship shifts and people are different now. They don't have skills, they can't collaborate, they're not engaged. There's a negative cycle happening. And sometimes, I've worked with a finance team, for example, that person says, I don't need to have a relationship with my manager. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do my tasks. Well, through the process, we have learned that she has become very unproductive. And she has been ineffective. She cannot sleep at night because she cannot come to her manager for questions, for collaborations, for asking. That bridge is broken. And so she doesn't sleep at night. She has all kinds of different health issues. And when they were started to reconnect and repair the relationship, her motivation became again up online. She sleeps better at night. Her health issue disappeared. Well, that tells us something. That tells us that relationships are so key for us. And emotional connection is a glue that holds that bond together. Rocky talked about we depend on each other at work. And that dependency automatically creates an attachment. And in our brain turns on our bonding needs. So when we lose the connection, our brain goes into panic, not because you're immature or because you're not smart enough, because we have a mammalian brain. And that mammalian brain tells us is that being alone and with no one watching your back is dangerous. Again, learning from the teams that I worked with, I created a reconnection form, a reconnection roadmap, step-by-step process, how managers can lead these bonding conversations where people can reconnect and repair the relationship. The conversation is not awkward, but it's a dance. It's like you moving into the people into that music. If you want to change the dance, you have to change the music. And the fastest way to change the music is through emotions. You change emotions with emotion. Learning and understanding the process and understanding, really looking through that attachment lens makes a big difference.